Blog Talk Radio.
All right, thank you everybody that's listening tonight on Conservatives Cool Talk Radio. It's your host, Wayne Bradley, and I want to thank everybody for listening in tonight. I've got a couple things going on this evening. We're going to talk a little bit about the health care debate. We're also going to talk with Robert Allen Mansfield, a candidate for governor in the state of Pennsylvania. So I definitely think that it's going to be a good show tonight. I want to hear if you got any questions tonight. We're going to talk about we're going to talk about that healthcare summit that went down today. More of another possibly a PR stunt, but I want to get your opinion on it. I want to hear from everyone on that tonight. First thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about a candidate, and what I consider a great candidate and patriot for the state of Pennsylvania, Robert Allen Mansfield. I suggest that you go to his website to get more information exactly if you want to find out everything about the man, mansfieldforpa.org. That's the name of the website. I have him on the line, and I'm going to bring him on the show soon, but again, I think I'm going to give you I'll give you a little bit of a biography on him and who is Robert Allen Mansfield. He was born January 28, 1971 in Philadelphia. You know what? I'm going to give you exact what I'm seeing here off the website. Born to a heroin addict mother who put him up for adoption. He spent his first 2 years in foster care before being adopted by the Mansfield family. Life growing up in the Mansfield home was challenging for Robert. His relationship with his adopted father was rocky and both physically and emotionally abusive. Robert began running away from home and finally removed from the Mansfield home after concerned neighbors stepped in to help the then 12-year-old Robert. You know, this is such a touching story. I want Robert to explain more in his own words exactly what's his story and exactly what made him run for governor. I'm going to bring him on the show right now.
I'm honored.
Robert.
Honored to be on the Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Bradley. I'm honored to be on the show tonight. Just thanks for the opportunity.
I appreciate you coming on the show. Again, on the whole point of my show, I've got a few different goals, and some of it is to introduce great conservative candidates throughout the country running for all different kinds of positions, in particular African American candidates, just to show for more than one reason that we exist out here and we're running for different positions, come from all different kinds of backgrounds. And we still are finding ways to represent conservative values. So, again, I appreciate you coming on the show. I was just about to read off almost your whole bio here on the website, and I'd rather let you give an introduction about Robert Allen Mansfield, the man, like I said on Twitter earlier, the patriot, and the gubernatorial candidate of Pennsylvania.
Well, thank you. As the bio has suggested, I was born addicted to. I was born to a mother who was addicted to heroin. I was addicted to heroin. I spent 7 days in the hospital, withdrawn from the effects of my mother's heroin abuse. She left the next day. Obviously, had placed me for adoption. Coincidentally, I was told when I finally dug up the history of my biological family, I was told that I was supposed to have been aborted, but my mother changed her mind and decided to put me up for adoption. Okay. I was adopted at age 2. I spent the first 2 years in foster care, and at age 2 I became Robert Allen Mansfield. Obviously going through the physical and emotional abuse and being molested by a babysitter as well. Just going through that whole history from age 3 to about 12 when I was removed from the Mansfield family. It's pretty sad when you have to terminate an adoption, but that's what happened to me on July 3rd, 1983. I spent the better half the rest of my teenage years in and out of foster homes and in and out of various children's homes. Was sexually assaulted in a children's home in Philadelphia, and then coincidentally sent up to Easton, Pennsylvania, where I learned to do preparatory speech, became student council president, the second African American in my school, in the school's history. Then came back to Philadelphia in 1990-91. I dropped out of high school. I became kind of disillusioned one of the things that happened was I finally met some of my biological family. I did not meet my mother because she was killed in 1983, a homicide. So I did not get a chance to meet her. I came back to Philadelphia and became homeless, stayed in a homeless shelter for about 4 years. I also slept on the street many times as well. In 1994, 95, I got out of the homeless system, began working 2 or 3 jobs. In 1996, I joined the Army National Guard, became a small business owner, ran a small finance company. Then in 2004, I got out of the Army National Guard only to get back in 2005. Raised my right hand again to come back in. That was in the height of the Iraq War. That's when the IEDs and the EFPs started to show up in Iraq. And there was a staff sergeant called me up who I've known while I was prior to while I was in the other unit. And he said, you got to make a decision here. You want to, you're sputtering out of control again. You need to make a decision. Come back into the Army National Guard and try to put your life back together again. So I did. I went back into the Guard. In 2006, they were looking for 30 volunteers to go to Iraq to be attached to a transportation company out of Connecticut. I said, send me. I volunteered. I was not voluntold. I volunteered. I didn't want that call, so I said, send me, and I went on to serve in Iraq. While in Iraq, I started to have some symptoms of diabetes, and they were monitoring me closely in Iraq. But I completed, I think, about 10 missions I completed. Got hit one time. I have a combat action badge. I was hit for one IED during a convoy. We was coming out of Baghdad, going south back to Kalzu, and our truck was part of the 4th gun truck. And I looked right at the 2155 rounds, and they exploded.
Wow!
Saw the whole thing. It was very, very odd situation because I had said that if I ever get hit with an IED, I was going to smoke, cuss, and go to the bathroom with myself at the same time. But when that IED exploded, I didn't do any of that. I was the calmest person in the vehicle. And it had a lot to do with my faith in Christ.
All right.
And I'm an Orthodox Episcopalian, and I attend about 4 services every Sunday. So I'm a devout Episcopalian. It was my faith that got me through Iraq. Came back to the States September 1st, 2007. The first thing I did when I stepped off that plane, I kissed the ground. I was so happy to be back on U.S. soil.
Right.
You really don't understand and appreciate your freedoms until you go to another country and then come back.
Okay.
I was blessed to come back. So I went on to continue my active duty service at Fort McCoy. Was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. A year later, I was diagnosed with kidney cancer.
Wow. And
I have neuropathy as well. I'm an insulin-dependent diabetes. So my friends out there who are listening, make sure you know your A1AC. Know what your A1AC is, and keep your blood sugar under control.
Wow.
But I had an operation on my left kidney, and still being monitored by the Mayo Clinic for the right kidney. They're not ruling out the possibility of a radical nephrectomy or another partial nephrectomy of my kidney. My service to this country is coming to a close within the next month. The Army, in its infinite wisdom, has decided that I'm medically unfit to serve in the armed services. My reasoning for running for governor is very simple. The people around this country have said enough is enough.
Right.
Enough is enough with both parties, both Republicans and Democrats.
Right.
I am running because I believe that we need to interject new voices, new ideas into the political process. And I'm kind of an oddball within my party. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So when you see a black male coming from Philadelphia, you automatically assume that he is bringing a liberal theology to the table. So
trust me, I'm a black man from Detroit, Robert. I know the feeling. We're on the same boat on that one.
So you understand? We have to. I mean, when I tell people I'm a Republican, then they say, "Okay,
how did that happen?"
Republican? Yeah, how did you get there? And then I tell them I'm a conservative, and you have to define what that means.
Exactly.
Okay, I believe in smaller government. Okay, what does that mean? Everyone believes in smaller government. Okay, what does it mean? It means that I believe in the privatization of the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation. I believe that the 90 boards, commissions, and agencies that we currently have under the state of Pennsylvania needs to be consolidated down to 33. I believe in eliminating both the property tax and the personal income tax, along with phasing out the corporate income tax in the state and going to a flat sales tax.
Okay.
And so that's what I mean when I say smaller government.
Right.
So
right. I mean that will definitely streamline and make it smaller. Definitely.
We're talking about regionalizing our school districts. In Pennsylvania, we have 501 school districts. Philadelphia is the only school district in the state that does not have an elected school board. I like to see Philadelphia have an elected school board, but before we do that, the Philadelphia school system will have to go into receivership. We may have to break that system up.
Right.
I believe passionately in school choice and vouchers. You know, the time has come for America to end the practice of condemning poor kids to bad schools on a take-it-or-leave-it basis. It is racist and it is fundamentally un-American. We can no longer continue to teach kids how to rap instead of teaching them how to read. You know, it's a disconnect here, and it has to end. We have to take on these teachers' unions and tell them, listen, you know, your role in education is going to have to change. We're going to have to enter into a new normal because the old normal is abnormal. Therefore, we need a new normal going forward.
Right.
You know, reducing the public balance sheet so that we're not competing with private entities on in the bond market. You know, so we need to. Those are the issues that I am passionately for, and I passionately believe in. I'm passionately pro-life. Obviously, I was about to be aborted. I'm glad my mother chose life.
Exactly.
You know, and I know that life begins at conception. I do not need to defer to a higher pay grade to come to that conclusion.
Amen.
You know,
Good.
you know, that's my beliefs, and that's why I'm running for governor. I'm sorry for that long diatribe, but I want to get all that bio in it so people have a perspective of who I am and where I come from.
And that's why I wanted to give you that platform because, like I said, when I do my research and when I have people come on the show, it's people that, like I said, your bio, your background, it impresses me, and like I said, what I'm starting to see across the country are you having real citizens that can understand what the problems are and they're stepping up like yourself. Before you were involved, has all your time been involved in the military, or have you been like teaching? Have you done anything else besides those things? Because I'm just, you know, it just seems like you have a lot of great ideas. What made you come to to a Republican and conservative mind frame when picking politics?
Well, I've been a small business owner. I've worked 3 or 4 jobs. Literally, I've worked 7 days a week, and still run the business. Today, I have a company called Meredith Capital, which is not up and operating because I'm on active duty. I'm not allowed to be involved in those activities. I have done some mentoring of young people in preparatory speech. Not as much as I like to have done.
Right.
But my life experiences had led me to become a Republican. I've been a registered Republican since age 18. I'm 39.
Okay.
I will not be placed on a plantation with Democratic politics. Now, I went to Bucks County on Sunday.
Okay.
To a Republican group. Bucks County is literally 10 minutes to the north of Philadelphia.
Okay.
And I went to a Republican event. It was a group of Republican county chair people or whatever they were. Basically, they were hacks. And a guy was asking me about, because I walk with a cane. A guy was asking me about the cane. And I told him, and he was. I looked him in the eye, and I can tell he was about to give me that I'm a victim speech. And I said, whoa, buddy, slow down. I ain't no victim.
Okay.
I'm a survivor. I'm here today because I chose to live.
Right.
I don't need your sympathy. This cane ain't here for sympathy. So don't give me that puppy dog victim stuff. And you're a Republican? I don't need that. What I need you to do is to get out of my way.
Right.
let me be me. God gave me a hand to play. He gave me okay, all right, killer, play this hand, okay? I'll get back to you.
Gotcha,
He gave me, this is the hand I've been dealt. It's not the man's fault.
Right.
So I played the hand that I have. And I told that guy on Sunday, I'm happier today than I was before I left for Iraq. And I was pretty happy then.
Right.
But I'm happier today.
How's the campaign trail been? Can you describe a normal day of, what's campaigning like? How's the experience been so far?
Well, the experience so far, a normal day for me is I usually get up, and if I'm on the other side of the state, I'm usually up about 2 in the morning, and I'm on the road at 3, and I'm traveling on the other side of the state. I'll give you a typical real-time day. Tuesday, I went out to Cranberry Township on the other side of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
My driver wasn't available, so I had to drive myself. Now, I drive a Lincoln Navigator, so, being a diabetic, I have to watch my blood sugar. I can't get on the road if my blood sugar is a certain level, and
right.
so forth and so on. So I drove myself out that morning. I got there about 10:45. I was 45 minutes behind because the night before I got in at 2 in the morning, and so kind of a
you're only human.
Only human. So I overslept a little bit and was rushing out there, running about 90 miles an hour. Yes, I do speed. Driving, I had to respect it. I had a state representative waiting for me.
Right.
And you don't want to keep a state representative waiting. It's not fair to him. So we was hustling out there by myself, and I signed the Voters for Republican Values Pact.
Right.
I was the only Republican candidate, GOP candidate that signed that pact, and I went out there personally to sign that pact because I respected the values and I respected the people that were behind the Values Pact.
Now, you said you're the only one that showed up. Do you feel like the reason why maybe some of the other candidates didn't is because they're maybe more established and they just don't feel like they have to do those kind of things?
I believe that may be the case, Mr. Bradley. I believe so, sir. I believe that you have a state representative who's been there for 17 years. You have a sitting attorney general who barely wins, barely won two statewide elections. They're very smug, and the attorney general, who is the perceived front runner, doesn't really know what he believes. I said the other day that I said, Mr. Attorney General, you need to get in touch with yourself. You do. You need to know what you believe.
Yeah, I've been kind of. I like to do a little research on it before I bring you on, and referring to Tom Corbett and is that Sam Royer?
Sam Royer, yeah. Then I want to get back to that typical that day because once I got done.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Once I got done with the signing the pact and I had a great conversation with Representative Metcalf, and I went over to a diner about a mile or so away and shook hands with people in the diner. I had great conversation, great feedback on what is broken within the system.
Right.
Around the state. Then I left the diner and went down the street. I was running late because I had to get to Westmoreland Township to meet with a county commissioner. But I went down the street to pay homage to a former Marine colonel, who served for about 20 years. And went down and paid homage to him and said, I'd love to have your support. And went on, sped on down to 45 minutes to the east to Westmoreland County, Greenburgh, Pennsylvania, met with the county commissioner and got an understanding on what counties are facing around the state.
Right.
Westmoreland County is a little more well-off to do in terms of manufacturing base. The county commissioner told me that we really don't need a voucher system out here. Our schools are fine.
Right.
But what you can do on a state level is go when you propose legislation, propose that we eliminate some of these row offices. We don't need them. We don't need a jury commissioner. We don't need a lot of these row offices. A lot of these functions that are being done by these row offices can be consolidated into other offices. So, he had to look jury commissioners in the eye and say, listen, I love you guys, you're good people, but we really don't need you. You're not needed here. So what Westmoreland County needs is totally different than what Philadelphia County needs, and it's just, totally different from what Luzerne County needs, which is
would that be offering them choice too, as far as like if you're going to give obviously with the school of choice and charter schools, if they're in a district that says they don't want charter schools, do they have that option, or how does that work?
Yes, they will have the option to opt out, but there's some other things that we need to do on a state level that, in addition to that, is to giving counties the option to opt out. I don't think many counties would want to opt out of a charter school system or a voucher system if their school systems are not working properly.
Right.
But what we also need to do is we need to end the restrictive policies on homeschooling. We need to have unfettered school choice, unrestricted, and that is to include homeschooling. We need to go back and say to the homeschoolers, to parents, if you want to pool your money and hire a science teacher because you may not be proficient in biology,
right,
then you should be able to do so. But Pennsylvania has one of the most restrictive rules on homeschooling in the nation. And it's baffling because, once again, it goes right back to what they want to teach these kids in Philadelphia. They want to teach these kids how to rap. But they don't want to teach them about Robert Frost or Shakespeare or Socrates.
Right.
Now, where do you think these rappers get their inspiration from? They don't get their inspiration from a wall. They're reading Shakespeare. They're reading Robert Frost. They're reading Winston Churchill. So why are we going backwards instead of going forward? We need to teach Socratics in school. And we need to, if people want to pray in school, they ought to have that option to do so. We ought not be telling people, okay, well, if you're a Muslim, you can wear a burqa. If you're a Christian, stay away. If you're an atheist, sure, you can give the word some spiritual guru weird stuff. But if you're a Christian and you believe in Jesus Christ, Jesus is a little divisive,
It seems like the Christians are becoming the bad guys in a lot of these liberal forums around here. And I've said a couple times on the show, the further away we're trying to move away from Christ, the worse this country's getting at every level, at every local, state, national level, is getting worse.
You see that in the healthcare policy on a national level, where you have Dr. Ezekiel Manuel deciding that a life of a 77-year-old is not worthy or is less important than the life of a 25-year-old.
Right.
You know what our parents used to say: youth is wasted on the young.
Right. Exactly.
So I mean, this culture of death. And this inability of this government to defend life from conception to natural death under this healthcare policy, we will have unnatural death. Because we will be deciding.
They had a lot of talk about that at the summit today about listening in about now they want to use public funds for abortions.
No, I don't. Matter of fact, we need to, in the black community, we need to reject the pact that the NAACP, or the National Association of Evangelists, certain colored people, and Planned Parenthood have placed together. Yes, I said parenthood. This pact of placing abortion clinics in black communities is unacceptable.
Genocide.
It's worse than genocide. I think it's eugenesis in its nature. And the eugenesis is the practice of the study of Holocaust. We need to reject that at all costs. And where are the black ministers at? Why? I mean, we're supposed to be preaching the gospel, all the gospel, not some of the gospel.
There you go.
We need to be out there preaching and standing in the streets saying, hey, you can't put these Clintons in our communities.
Right.
Put them in your community, which they won't do.
No, that has been a question. I've seen that in multiple blogs and different places as far as, where's the black churches on a lot of those kind of social issues. And it's to the point now where they don't want to offend people because they're it's almost like it's a business, and that's not what they're supposed to be doing. They're supposed, like you said, preaching the gospel, all of it, not some of it. So,
right. I
mean, we definitely need the black churches in the black community to step up on those issues.
And what's sad is you have homosexuals in the pulpit. You have them, and they won't preach against homosexuality because obviously they're part of that. This affectation that they have has to be broken, and they have to get back to literally go back to the Bible and read it again, and to make sure they understand it and preach it as it's supposed to be preached.
All right, that's my kind of conservative right there. All right. Again, we're gonna get back to the campaign. We were talking before the show came on. You said you had some things, you had some big announcements and things. You might want to give us a heads up on, so we know people looking out for it and checking out your website.
Sure. If you're in the Philadelphia area on March the 6th, we are having a Freedom Fest at Independence Hall. It's from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Obviously, I will be one of the speakers there. It was designed to talk about the possibility of a limited Pennsylvania Constitutional Convention. It's pretty much turned into a candidates forum, and that's fine. We have a lot of congressional candidates. Congressman Jim Gerlach will be there. Michael Johns, former speechwriter to George H.W. Bush, is our keynote speaker. Obviously, I'm going to tear down the house. There's not going to be a foundation when I get done speaking.
There you go.
On the 6th. One thing I want to say that if you are coming, and we invited a lot of the Tea Party people to come, and they've kind of shied away from it. But if you're coming to this event, I'm still on active duty for at least another month. Please leave your anti-Obama. Obama's a socialist. Obama's a communist. Obama's a witch doctor signs at home. As an active duty member, I cannot be on site and be around people that are disrespecting the commander-in-chief, regardless of what I believe, what I think about the policies of the president. No one asks me, and no one cares. But as an active duty member, I have to respect the commander-in-chief, regardless of who they are and what political party they belong to. So we cannot, as active duty members, and be on site where we have those type of depictions of debasement of the commander-in-chief. That's by military rules. But what they call a uniform code of military justice. We can't be part of that. Right. You can bring your "Don't tread on me" signs. You can bring,
Has the Tea Party's been supportive of your campaign?
No. It seems like a political schizophrenia to me, and that's kind of baffling because I didn't just get here as a conservative. Like I said, my life experience has led me to be a conservative.
All right.
I can't think of no other political ideology that I want to align myself with than believing in the power of the individual and knowing that government cannot solve all your problems. I used to be on, Mr. Bradley, I used to be on welfare. It did not solve my problem. It made me more of a slave to the system.
Right.
So,
and I think that's something. I think again that's something that the message that needs to be kind of brought to the African American community about making that understood, and that's been kind of like what my idea of my show and that kind of message. So,
right.
I appreciate you coming on here and giving us your story. Like you said,
the next.
Big announcements coming up, but I definitely want you to, like I said, give us the website so everyone can know the website and any other information so that we can keep up with you, because I know you, like you said, you got some big announcements coming up real soon.
The next, real quickly, the other event is on the 8th of March in the Capitol Rotunda in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So if you're in the Harrisburg area, come on by. It's at 9:30 in the morning. This will be a big big announcement, big bombshell that's going to, I believe, will be the shot that'll be heard around the nation in terms of any gubernatorial race or any race around the country. That's in Harrisburg. Our website is Mansfield, the number 4, PA.org. That is Mansfield, the number 4, PA.org. I'm on Facebook, Robert Allen Mansfield. There's 2 Robert Allen Mansfield. They're both me. One is our fan page. So if you see the guy in the military uniform, go to the fan page because you'll get updates constantly.
Okay.
And then you go to also you can become a friend of mine on the main page. And I'm on Twitter at Mansfield 4 FORPA as well. You know, I'm probably one of the most unusual candidates is that in that I don't mind getting in there and arguing with you on Facebook. I mean, yeah, it's kind of odd to see a candidate on Facebook or on Twitter really getting into arguments with people. You know, I start stuff on purpose. You know, I guess I come from this premise. If I do not offend you, then I've not done my job.
There you go.
I don't believe in play in the middle. Take a stand, left or right. Take a stand. If people may not agree with my stance, like I said, I want a statewide school uniform policy. I don't want to see pants on the ground. You know, it's an insult to me as a black man to see another man walking around with his pants hanging halfway off his butt with his own underwear showing with advertising. If it's not for sale, keep it out the window.
All right, man. I hear you on that, man. I can appreciate that. Well, I tell you what, I want to have you come back on the show after you make your big announcement, after you do those couple of events down there. I'd love to have you come back on here. I can appreciate having you on the show just for the same, we share a lot of the same ideas, the same beliefs, so I really enjoyed having you on the show this evening. Again, it's Robert Allen Mansfield for Governor of Pennsylvania. Check out the website, get all the background information, and again, if you can help and support him out, I'm sure he would appreciate that. Robert, thanks again for coming on the show.
Mr. Bradley, it's an honor. God bless you, sir.
Thank you. You have a good evening, and I
Yes,
can't wait to have you on the show again.
We will. Thank you. God bless.
God bless you. Have a good evening.
Yes, sir.
Wow. All right. Well, that was Robert Allen Mansfield, who's running for governor of Pennsylvania, and I really enjoyed that conversation with the gentleman. As an African American conservative, it's good. It's been good just for me to have people on the show that share some of these same ideas, and it's been really motivating to hear these future leaders and future decision makers come on the show. I wish you the best of luck with your race. Again, if you get a chance, check out the website mansfield4pa.org, or look them up on you can Google them, Robert Allen Mansfield. A great story about working hard and accomplishing things, and again, not using any of your past things that have happened in the past as a reason not to excel. And not to make better of your situation. That is again what America is about, and I hope that people were listening in on that, and I hope that you really get all the information about this gentleman's story, because if that doesn't motivate you, I honestly don't know what will. So thanks again for coming on the show, and again, good luck on the campaign. We'll be following you, and looking forward to that big announcement, because quite frankly, I know what it is, and I'm sure it will be some news to the people down there. So good luck, Robert. We're going to talk a little bit about this healthcare summit that went down today. It looked like a lot more with a lot of conservatives concerned about in the first place, which was almost like a PR stunt for the administration, and a chance to further, I guess, their plans for with the Obamacare plan. So I guess the issues that a lot of the Republicans have, and they still haven't been addressed, and it's still on the table are state or tax-funded abortions, and also health care for immigrants. And I think it was interesting to think back when the president was giving, I believe it was his first State of the Union, or I think it was, yes. And when Congressman Joe Wilson yelled, "You lie," when he made the comments about the health care bill not including immigrants, and lo and behold, a year later or so, it's still included in the bill. So I commend the Republicans for actually going to that summit, because a lot of them knew going in that a lot wasn't going to get done, but they went in anyway and listened and presented ideas. Eric Cantor and John Boehner, those gentlemen were there to, again, present ideas and listen. And I'm sure they knew, like I said, going into it, that the president and his people, Pelosi, Reid, they have a plan, they have an agenda, they want to get this passed. It's just a matter, again, they can't even get it together within their own party on what they want to do. So it's going to be very hard to get Republicans to actually join in on the program. So you've got a lot of work to do. And I want to hear from the people tonight, 347-996-3175. Give me a call. Let me know what you thought about the interview tonight with Robert Allen Mansfield. Also, let me know, give me your take on the Healthcare Summit. I didn't get to watch it. I was following a lot of it online. Again, it just seems to me like it was a dog and pony show. They have their ideas of what they want. They're talking reconciliation already. So I can't believe that they are going into this wanting to hear both sides of the agenda, but maybe, like I said, maybe through the process and this with the summit that will change. Give me a call, 347-996-3175. Tonight was a special show. Like I said, I wanted to do the interview this evening, and I appreciate Mr. Manson for coming on the show this evening. But again, we talked also today about the healthcare debate, and I want to hear how people feel about it. Give me a call, 347-996-3175. I'm going to go on the Twitter, see what I got going on here. I'm just going through some articles here. I'm going to go also click on a live chat in case anybody's listening. If you just want to join in on the live chat this evening, I'm going to open up the chat room. Good to have a lot of different voices and opinions on the show. I encourage not just conservatives to call in, but I want to hear from liberals too. I want to hear what you think will be a responsible idea of a health care bill going forward. I mean, we're already in, as America as a country, we're in tough shape, and we're trying to, like I said, I know there is a need for health care reform. It's just a matter of the way we put this bill together and make it work where it's something that doesn't bankrupt this country any further than the situation we're already in. Watching so far, it just appears that the Democrats are willing to spend us. They honestly believe that they can spend us out of this problem. And I just, in any form of financing, business, personal, you can't spend yourself out of debt. And I don't see why it's any different for taxpayer money than it is for your money. So I want to hear what you have to say. I'm going to see. I got a couple people joining me here on the in the chat room. Give me a call, 347-996-3175. It's good. Like I said, it's great to have this month in Black History Month. I was able to get some great black conservatives on the show, and again, in particular, that was for this. I obviously celebrating Black History Month. I wanted to highlight that. But wherever you're listening, if you have some great candidates that are running for positions in your area, especially in important areas, feel free to send me suggestions, send me emails on who you think would be a good guest to have on the show. I met some great people down at CPAC that I hope to have on the show soon. I met John Dennis. He'll be running against Pelosi out in San Francisco. I definitely would like to get him on the show. Like I said, I met a lot of great people down there, and I'm hoping, like I said, over time I'll be able to get all the gentlemen I met down there, down at CPAC. So I'm looking forward to that. Give me a call tonight. I want to hear how you feel about this healthcare debate. Does it look like they're going to try to weasel it through? Like I said, when they're talking reconciliation, that's a big issue. They're going to, like I said, work around the whole Scott Brown issue, even though Scott Brown is already turning out to be someone that maybe Democrats can rely on, which I can't see why people could find that to be a real big surprise considering what state he's from. So he might be a serious rhino, and we'll find out as time goes on. I want to commend him on the fact that I guess he might have felt like he wanted to do something to, in good faith, to move forward on something, but again, like I talked about on Tuesday's show, a lot of people have felt betrayed about that. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes on. All right. What we got going on here on Twitter? John, thanks for listening in this evening. If you're listening out there, appreciate it. We're going to start really going hard at the college crowd, the young conservatives. I really had a good time at CPAC, at the X-PAC, which were all the younger folks, and I'm only 33 myself, so it sounds funny sometimes saying the younger folks, but it's been a while now since I've been out of college, and it was good getting, like I said, talking with the young people there. Over the next couple of weeks, besides politicians, I want to start bringing on some groups that can talk, that are really citizen groups, citizen watch groups, helping us out, coming with some great ideas. I don't know if people are familiar with the fairtax.org. You want to check out that website, and also I want to have some of the reps from their company come on and talk about the fair tax. I think there's a lot of different ideas out here. Americans for Prosperity, the Heritage Foundation. A lot of these people, like I said, I met down at CPAC, and I think that, again, that we have grassroots-wise, we have to really spread the message of people that can help out and that want to help out on the grassroots level. So I look forward to having them on the show also. Give me a call, 347-996-3175. I'm going to be going off the air pretty shortly. I just wanted to hear if anybody heard the interview with Robert Allen Mansfield. If you want to comment, that's fine. Also, this show is recorded and will be live for your podcast soon. So I appreciate everybody that's listening out there. I've got another few minutes left. 347-996-3175. If you get a chance, go onto the website, conservativescool.com. We're making some new updates and new links on there to the site. Like I said, I want to start also referring to some other great sites and organizations. I met somebody from the NRA that I plan on having on the show. We're going to talk Second Amendment rights soon. So, like I said, I'm coming back from CPAC. I really enjoyed myself, and like I said, I want to start bringing on other guests besides just political candidates. I believe that that's a big component of what's going on, but also you see, hearing from some of these candidates, it makes me realize that you have a lot of people that are really fed up with the status quo of candidates. And I encourage people that are listening, if you're in your area and you feel like sometimes some of the best people in the area might be someone you know, encourage that person to maybe run for whatever position it is, because that is grassroots organizations. That is getting involved, and people should not shy away from that. A lot of the bigger, more famous people and politicians shy away from it because of all the dirt, but that's being brought on. But if you're a normal, I don't see where that would be as much of an issue for the person that really wants to help make changes and differences out here, or get involved with a candidate that you see that brings those values. And necessarily, if you don't want to be the politician yourself, I encourage people to get involved with a candidate that, like I said, perpetuates the same value system the same way that you the way you believe. So that's the kind of activism we need out here, and it's appreciated with these candidates. They really do need your help in going against larger, more well-funded, established candidates. That is sometimes the only that might be the largest defining factor. And unfortunately, we should not let only donations and funding be the only defining factor with candidates when you have people that are generally trying to do the right thing for the people. And I think that people, in the future definitely are going to pay more attention to that. But we as the citizens, we need to pay more attention to that and realize that just because someone's the best funded doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best candidate. So pay attention to that in the future. Help out the candidates, again, that aren't necessarily the most funded, because that does not, again, make them the best candidate for that position moving forward. So, again, I want to thank Robert Mansfield. I want to thank Les Phillips for coming on this month. I want to thank Bill Richardson for coming on. I really appreciate everybody Bill Randall, I'm sorry, for coming on. Really appreciate everyone that's come on the show, making it great. Thank Mark Lamont Hill for coming on last month, at the beginning of the month, to debate with me. I hope to have you on again soon so we can talk again about maybe this healthcare debate, see where things are headed in that direction. Next month I'll be doing Fix Michigan Mondays. I look forward to doing that. We're going to start bringing in some local people, local politicians and local leaders to further talk about what we can do to improve the state of Michigan. That's my hometown, my home state, and I want to see us get in a better path. There's no doubt we need some good old-fashioned conservatism, some belt tightening, release some of these restrictive tax laws that are making it almost impossible to want to even do business in Michigan. So I look forward to having the candidates and different leaders on for Fix Michigan Mondays. I'm going to be leaving the show now. Like I said, again, this show in particular was an interview for Robert Allen Mansfield, and I thank him again for coming on. Thank you, everyone, for listening. God bless you. We're going to be going off. I want to tell everybody to check out the website, conservativescool.com. I'll be adding new blogs and new material over the next few days, and I thank you for listening and following. Good night. God bless you.